Hello, I'm Lee Davis. I recently made a short, well not so short, but I made a video to promote my new novella, Gross, Dr. Deathworm Rises, and you know, I kind of wanted to include it in that video. A bunch of other plugs or just props or just mention and details about a lot of other things in art and creativity that have really rocked my world lately. Before I get to endorsing a lot of the awesome stuff that I've been real impressed by in recent time over the past year or so, just various articles I picked up, I just want to once more endorse this, because the paperback showed up today. The paperback is not quite out yet, but I got an advanced copy of the paperback that's going to be available soon, published definitely before anybody sees this. So it's on Amazon, Gross, Dr. Deathworm Rises. Had a lot of fun writing it. There's the audiobook version, which I made at home. Anyway, yeah, this is the one that's actually online. Don't know if the audio is ever going to be available, maybe for download. Who knows, who cares? I got to decide whether or not it's worth putting my irritating voice acting out there. Okay, yeah, my book. Oh yeah, let me endorse one more other small tidbit. I just want to put this out there. Gross, also my death metal band. I consider it minimalist death metal because I never got good at it, but you know what the problem is growing up wanting to make music like this, I never met any other musicians that wanted to play this kind of music. So I had to do everything myself, and I never really learned how to play the guitar. So it's very talentless. It's like utterly talentless, but I have a lot of fun with it. I'm gonna probably release this as a CD, probably through Amazon, and probably a digital download. Now I can already see all the metal snobs out there who are going to post me stuff I already know, post reviews that should already be known, that it's not talented, that it's not really Hate Eternal or Cannibal Corpse, but to those snobs, bite me. It was never intended to be talented. FYI, I'm very influenced in death metal by the classics, some of the greatest bands ever in death metal: Cannibal Corpse, Autopsy, Obituary, all the greats, Carcass, what have you. I could go on and on, but I love morbid death metal. Do the band Gross just for fun. If you think you might enjoy it, check it out, but most of you probably won't. So, to most of you, don't check it out, please. Whatever. Okay, now, I think that pretty much wraps up my stuff. I wanted to start with this. This is a collection of the Fraggle Rock comics that were released in the 80s. This is what was released by Archaia Publishing. Of course, Fraggle Rock was Jim Henson's baby, and just a timeless, fantastic children's program. And the cool thing about this is the first comic I ever received was bought for me by my grandfather Bill, on my grandfather on my dad's side. I recall quite clearly becoming so infatuated with this. I was probably 5 years old at the time, and just how much it made me want to read. Being just very fascinated by these cool, gnarly, colorful creatures and the adventures they were getting into. I would very much like to just send out my love and thanks to my grandfather Bill, who of course is not here, you know, not on this planet anymore, but wherever you are. Thank you, Granddad Bill. And of course Jim Henson, who was also passed on, as we all know. I remember I was in 4th grade when it happened, and I was authentically, truly sad, and now I'm just very happy for what he left behind. So, Fraggle Rock, check that out. This is a piece of my history personally. I saw this and had to order it. It rules. Okay. Alright, now this is definitely not Fraggle Rock, but it's awesome. Dean Koontz. Found this audiobook, mighty affordable. It was worth $11 to experience this book again. Already read it in paperback. This is What the Night Knows by Dean Koontz. Dean Koontz. This is what was really cool and really helped sell it. I was going to buy it regardless, but it's performed by Steven Weber. Now, forgive me if I'm incorrect, but I'm pretty sure Steven Weber is the man who was in the newer version of Stephen King's The Shining. I've always liked this actor. If I'm wrong, punch me in the face. But Yeah, Stephen King's The Shining and Dario Argento's Jennifer, and I believe Stephen King's Desperation. I think that was directed by Mick Garris, but I always liked that actor, especially his performance in Jennifer. He played a disturbed, freaked out ex-cop or kind of cop or whatever very well. Just anyway, back to Koontz. This is a great story. I loved hearing it, experiencing this story again. Let's see. I got the ebook that goes with this. The Moonlit Mind. Am I getting that? Because I haven't read the ebook yet. So Moonlit Mind. Oh shoot! All right, we'll get to that later. Point is, I got it, and now I'm gonna read that soon. As soon as I'm done reading the ebook that goes with 77 Shadow Street. Anyway, hey look, Dean Koontz is a masterful thriller writer, suspense writer, whatever have you. I maintain, as he'd maintain, you can't really call this guy a horror author, but he dabbles with the paranormal in this one, which was really cool for a guy like me who craves the fantastique in thrilling fiction. But as much as I love this, I am not done reading 77 Shadow Street yet, but it is a incredible book. What's really cool to me is I know the original creators of the Silent Hill franchise, which I'm a huge fan of. Were partially inspired by Koontz. Alchemilla Hospital is on Koontz Street in Silent Hill. And by the way, Jack Ketchum is also a virtual street in the Silent Hill neighborhood since the release of Downpour. Yeah, I'm a nerd, aren't I? Anyway, 77 Shadow Street kind of reminds me of Silent Hill. It's a merging of realities. It gets into a weak spot in the time-space fabric where past and present all converge, and there's obviously a hellish dimension. There's a very ugly dimension where monsters live that is kind of closing in on the humans in the Pendleton. Go to 77shadowstreet.com. It's so cool. Speaking of Silent Hill and virtual haunted areas, there's a virtual Pendleton that you get to explore and witness the haunts. Look out the window as the storm is raging and reality is bending. Cool. 77 Shadow Street. Dean Koontz is a master and a very nice guy, and he supports canine companions, dogs that help the handicapped, and autistic children. He's a very outgoing dude. Rock on, Dean Koontz. Okay, now look, I had to endorse. This is El Torres's The Veil. Hope I'm pronouncing his name right. El Torres is from Spain, where great death metal like Avulsed and Hemorrhage and tons of others I'm gonna hate myself for forgetting. I think Gruesome Stuff Relish is from there. That's for my death metal nerd friends, okay? But Spain also, direct movies, obviously, and El Torres, The Veil. Now, anybody who likes very good, gripping, biting horror should check this out. This was beautifully illustrated by Gabriel Hernandez, yes, and editor James Heffron and Chris Rael. We'll just mention collection editor Justin Eisinger, collection design Neil Uyatake. Yeah, I'm sure I pronounced that right. The artwork is just as great as the writing. This is a fantastic piece of horror. This is outer horror. It does deal with a woman who sees dead people, which, hey, cliche as it may be, it's also timeless, and once again, why fix something that's not broken? But he does it so well. What I love about the integrity of this story, to make horror that is so non-conventional, there are no sexy vampires or werewolves in this. There is just grim atmosphere. The artwork just brings to mind classic horror before it was all glammed out. But yeah, before all the characters had to look like supermodels. This is just flat out good stuff. And the character development is great. The inner workings of the mind, the protagonist who communicates with the dead people is awesome. Back to Silent Hill, I would recommend this to anybody who's a fan of Silent Hill. El Torres obviously has other work out there. The Veil, I thought, was very sadly overlooked by many people. But check out all his work if you can, and this one, definitely. Okay, rock on. Hey, a lot of fellow Lovecraftian aficionados, I wouldn't call myself an aficionado because there are Lovecraft fanatics out there that make me look like I basically don't have a clue about Lovecraft, but a lot of Lovecraftian fanatics maybe not a lot. That's not fair. I've heard some Lovecraftian lovers say they didn't really like Boom's Lovecraftian releases. Well, I really enjoyed. I loved the Fall of Cthulhu stories, and Necronomicon. I'm probably forgetting one or two, but the most recent I read was the Calling Cthulhu Chronicles, and I really enjoyed this. I thought the atmosphere, the suspense, the dread. I thought it was all embodied very well in a modern storytelling. The artwork is beautiful. I thought this was a great story. I love Boom's treatment of Lovecraftia, and I loved this. It was a miniseries, obviously a trade paperback. So I'm stingy and I wait for the trade paperbacks so I can get it all in one shot. Okay, one of the original zombie comics was Dead World, and this is the most recent. The Last Siesta. Dead World in Mexico. Awesome. Great art, great story. Just Dead World continues to rule. There's not a lot of Dead World out there, well, there is. I mean, but not in recent times. Vincent Locke got his start with Dead World. He moved on to work with the ingenious Neil Gaiman on The Sandman, which I was a big fan of when I was younger, before I was permitted access to more blood and guts, in which case fantasy took the back seat to zombies and the like. Yeah, Vincent Locke, and of course, who is also the artist for the beautiful, not very family-friendly cover art of Cannibal Corpse. Whatever. Awesome. Okay, I typically don't invest much money in graphic novel adaptations of movies I've already watched. Even if I love the movie, you know, it's money too. But this was an exception to the rule. In particular, I thought the idea of filling in gaps. This is not a direct adaptation. This shows what happens before, in between, that we didn't see, and even after. And one thing that I thought was very cool about this was the enigma of Evil Dead 1 and Evil Dead 2, where, you know, how does Evil Dead 1 become Part 2? Is Part 2 a remake? Is it what's going on? It actually bridged the gap and showed where they are linked together. I thought that was really, really nifty. There's even a couple little jabs at inconsistencies in the movie that it kind of compensates for. I've always been real impressed when a writer does that with a franchise, that, you know, they find the flaws and they kind of gel them out, so to speak. Cool. Oh, and the artwork in this, forget about it. This is they really cared about making art that was ideal for an interpretation of the original Evil Dead, which was, of course, the less comical entry. This is very gruesome, very gritty, very visceral, very awesome. And speaking of awesome, here comes more Evil Dead, and it's in many forms, ranging from different degrees of comic value to horror to everything. This has the Reanimator in it. This has just about anything you could possibly want. This has 8 million awesome jokes. This has my buddy Kevin Sharp, who I get to see at all the Roanoke Valley Comic Cons, was one of the contributors. This is just so full of awesome. If I were to even begin to attempt to tell you how much awesome is in this book, there wouldn't be enough time. Not enough time in the world. This is totally awesome. And one more little teensy-weensy bit of outrageously awesome stuff is Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash, the second one. I haven't gotten the first one yet, because these ones are going for just way beyond my budget right now. But, you know, I gotta say to my fellow horror nerds that this sticks with the mythology and the original characters of the original Freddy, the original Jason, and strings it together with Ash and in a great way. It was a lot of fun, and it was very awesome, great art. I would highly recommend that. Yeah. Word. Okay, where are we? Okay, let's move on to stuff a little closer to home. Oh, well, before we get to that, yes, this would be Clive Barker comics, signed by the man himself. Yes, you see ink from a pen or a Sharpie or what have you, owned by Clive Barker. Awesome. Clive Barker is actually the big name author that will be featured in Postmortem Press's next release. Once more, this was in the previous video, but here is Postmortem Press. Their next book, Torn Realities, will feature Clive Barker and me. So maybe a lot of readers out there who need their new fix of Lee Davis horror, who don't know who Clive Barker is, maybe they'll pick that book up and discover Clive Barker. You know, this is how other talent is discovered. I'm of course being totally sarcastic. I'll be in a book with Clive Barker. That's really cool for me. Okay, where to go from here? Oh yeah. Let's get into some local talent. Bee Sting, my buddy Matthew Smith, and Jeremy Massey. Matthew Smith wrote. He's done a lot of superhero comics, but he dabbled with horror, and teamed up with Jeremy Massey, who's a fantastic illustrator. He did The Deadbeat, I think. Deadbeat. I forget, was that on Avatar Publishing? I forget. I'm sorry, but Jeremy is an awesome illustrator. His cartoon style is just outstanding. Just really fun to read, and the treatment he gave this story. And what Bee Sting is, this is the cheesy 80s B horror slasher movie that was never made. It should have been. But you read this and that's all you can think of is all those really bloody, over-the-top slasher movies made in the 80s that were really cheesy but just way too much fun. That's exactly what this is. This is a great work, Bee Sting. It's got bee stings and backwater cannibals and teens at camp. Really perfect combo. Great stuff. Matthew Smith also teamed up with Melanie Florencio, hope I'm pronouncing it right, who does this really cool kind of like I guess I'd call it kind of folk art almost looking for a urban legend, urban ghost legend. So very moody, very atmospheric, very cool novelty here. Very good work. I like Bee Sting better because I'm a shameless lover of blood and guts, but I also like atmospheric ghost tales. So I like this very much too. It's real good. Strange Eons. I censor out the breasts here. Strange Eons is just an awesome magazine. This was just lying there. I didn't show this particular issue on the last video I made. But there's Rob Corliss, there's me, Vincent Ferrant, Tim Sparvero, Bob Price is in this. Bob Price, the immortal Lovecraftian scholar. It does feature my more pulp horror art. This was the issue where I moved away from the fun cartoon style and did something a little grittier. Still kind of funny, but more horror, less silly. I don't know, maybe you would disagree. I just wanted to show Strange Eons, didn't mean to go into my own work. My buddy Jarrell Claiborne, he is a fantastic author. He wrote Unwanted Heroes. He's just a great talent, and you might not know him yet, but you should. And Jarrell and my other buddy Lee Horton, we have been working on a couple projects. The Society is the one that I wrote for the great artist Lee Horton. I don't have anything to show for that right now. It's not made, but I promise you the Society will be great. And yada yada. And geez, oh my gosh, what was the one that you're, oh holy crap, I'm having a total brain fart. Hold on, I'll find out. Okay, Jarrell and Lee are gonna hate me for having this brain fart here, but oh my goodness. Why can I? The Unturned. Yeah, of course, I knew that. It's called The Unturned. That's the one that Jarrell wrote for the great artist Lee Horton. Whatever, check it out. It's awesome. And this is The Unknown by Jarrell Claiborne. I wish I had some more stuff to show from Mr. Horton, but he just has promotional work out right now, but he's working on some stories, some books that are going to come out, and just a great artist. This is a werewolf thriller tale, but totally new, totally different. This is not something you've read before. This features outstanding photography. Now, I forget the girl's name who provided the photography, so I'm not even going to try to list the people who contributed. I believe that's Jarrell right there. Jarrell has long hair, and if that's a girl that just looks like Jarrell Knight from the back, then I'm going to be really embarrassed. Let's see if my boy's in here. I can introduce him. Oh, whatever. I can't find him. Okay, whatever. Jarrell's awesome. Great author. Okay, here's just some death metal line here. Aspects. Great. Oh my gosh, yeah, I actually bought a Kitty CD. I don't know why. Going back on my word. I enjoyed it. Would be a, I don't know what you'd call them. I never really thought they were death metal, but it's kind of interesting. It's all female band, sounds like death metal. The new Cannibal Corpse, outstanding, phenomenal death metal album as always. You can never go wrong with these guys if you like death metal. I'm not going to show you the actual artwork. It's very graphic. You're going to have to get it yourself. Autopsy. This, you know, I already had all the EPs, except that this is a compilation of all their old EPs remastered. It was totally worth it for the artwork and the 4 or 5 extra songs, new songs they put on this, and the liner notes. One liner note being from the Asphyx guys. Incidentally, Autopsy is just great. I think there was a quote by Poe. I think it was. He said, "If you ever are to be, if you're to ever be drowned or strangled, make sure to document the experience." And maybe that wasn't Poe. I think it was. Whatever. Point being, I just thought it was kind of absurd because obviously if you drown or you're hanged, you're not going to be able to write about it. But I think that's what's interesting about death metal. Just to veer off for just a second here, I'll just say death metal is a way to explore horror and in death, and not necessarily glorify it, but just where you can, a lot of these songs are basically about dying, and it's death metal. I almost consider this, maybe people think this is a blasphemy, but this is almost like an embodiment of Poe in modern times. It's dark and grim and awesome. One thing I gotta say about Cannibal Corpse, I like how they do all these really violent songs and then they kind of balance it out by throwing one in there where they say, oh yeah, for example, in this one there's a depiction of people who have committed very terrible deeds in life, in hell, suffering eternally. I thought that kind of balances it out. It's not so nihilistic, it's also like, oh, by the way, bad people deserve to be punished eternally. Cool. Okay, yeah, whatever. Hey, speaking of Dead World, this came out. I bought this because it's impossible to get all the old back issues, but this compiled like all the original comics onto a PDF files on one disc. Totally worth the 20 bucks. There's a little Vincent log for you, the Cannibal Corpse artist dude, of course. Rock on. Oh, hey, alright, I should have gotten to this way earlier, because Alan Rowe Kelly, who is the director of one of my favorite indie movies ever, I'll Bury You Tomorrow, this is the first screener movie I've ever received, which is really cool. Far Cry From Home. I believe this is going to be on the Gallery of Fear anthology movie, I think, unless I'm mistaken, but check this out, and anything by Alan Rowe Kelly. This guy, and yes, it's a guy dressed as a woman. That's Alan Rowe Kelly's thing, I guess. But fantastic director, great, his directing talent, and I don't know, the insanity this guy does, this cross-dresser guy does. I hope that doesn't sound derogatory. I'm not making fun or anything. Very nice guy, Alan Rowe Kelly. Very bizarre acting, always intense, always just out there. I'll Bury You Tomorrow was a very cool and kind of stylish B-horror movie that really just hit the spot. It's like most B-horror movies, the people have a lot of passion. They don't know really what they're doing, but you could tell the passion was matched by really great talent that Alan brought in. Oh my gosh, now I'm forgetting that actor's name. Okay, thank God it's written here. Yeah, Jerry Murdoch is a talent that's featured in A Far Cry From Home, is a psychotic redneck who's very, very intolerant, let's just say, and terrorizes the character portrayed by Alan Rowe Kelly. And anyway, in the movie I'll Bury You Tomorrow, he played a cop, which was the all-American, just very the hero guy, the very likable, just do the right thing all the time guy. And then there are, of course, all these ghoulish, evil, terrible, maniacal people that were also in this town. Just great stuff. Anything you get from Alan Rowe Kelly is going to be great. I got a great interview from Alan Rowe Kelly that's going to appear in my compiled text. Still, this thing has been on the shelf so long, it's just, I'm trying to wrap it, but apologies to Alan Rowe Kelly, that will come out as an ebook or what have you. But great interview featured, and so to kind of make up for that terrible delay, yeah, Far Cry From Home, anything by Alan Rowe Kelly. The Bloodshed, again, very deranged, psychotic flick, not really family films, kind of like probably appeal to lovers of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Yeah, all that good stuff. Whatever. Hey, Pikmin's Muse. I'm glad I picked this up, and I cannot remember the name at the time. I should write notes before I do these things. I can't remember the name of the nice fella who does The Unfilmable. TheUnfilmable.com, I think it is, and he's very hands-on with independent Lovecraftian works, and has been a supporter of mine in the past, which I really appreciate. Pikmin's Muse, he might have had something to do with this, but anyway, I spent $15 whatever it was on Amazon. I'm real glad I picked this up because once again, here's a very low budget with a lot of heart and a lot of talent going into it. Even the special effects were very impressive for what little they had to do it with. And by special effects, I mean there's one part where you see this church, and I didn't know until I watched the behind the scenes that it didn't even exist. They made a model of it. I thought that was real cool. They totally, I mean, I didn't even know. So that's impressive. Pikmin's Muse, very good. Lovecraft fans, be advised to check this out. Shadows in the Garden was just like so primitive and so ghetto and so awesome. This is like 20 minutes, barely no dialogue. It's just a compilation of atmospheric footage of a monster killing a bad guy who's hurting, decapitating people or something like that. What I love about this is this shows that some friends can get together and do a monster tale and shoot it and release it. And I bought it, and I don't regret it. Even though, I mean, I know a practical critic, if you will, and everybody's a damn critic with you know, now that everyone can do reviews. I will give this props, where I know 1,000 other people would tear this to pieces. It also, I think, also for small timers like myself, independent artists, it's a little motivational to me because it just reminds me I can do movies too. Which incidentally, me and Jarrell and Lee, some of my other buddies are probably going to do our short horror film soon. We'll just see where that goes. Shadows in the Garden, cool stuff. Okay, we're just about done, I think. But Splatterhouse, yo, like this was the first real good horror game I ever played on the TurboGrafx 16. They made a remake of this, and they probably won't make another new game. You know, they won't make a sequel, remake, whatever. Which I think is a shame. This is a fantastic game, a great homage to the classic. I was so happy when this finally came out. I really enjoyed it. I even think there's an Easter egg. I'm pretty sure that when you're in this post-apocalyptic Lovecraftian future stage, how cool is that? Come on. You see Ash's body and collect a shotgun from him, maybe, or maybe it was a chainsaw. I forget. I think it was supposed to be Ash's body. But that's just one tiny little tidbit of all the awesome that's in this game. I'm at least happy that this came out, even though there probably won't be another one. Whatever. Awesome game. Okay, let's see. Let's find some awesome here. I'll try to make this quick. Eternal Bleeding, in case anybody ever asked, are actually real nice guys. I don't think they're even a band anymore, but I remember this was like the first death metal band I saw live. And that dude right there stepped on my foot. I was a 15-year-old dork, and here's these thuggin' New York death metal dudes, and he stepped on my foot. And, you know, I thought he was going to rip my head off for having my foot in his way, but he turned around and he said, "Oh, I'm sorry about that, man. I'm sorry. I said, whoa, those thugs are, like, really cool, nice guys. So, Eternal Bleeding. Rock on. Hate Eternal. Yes. Eric Rutan learned all he knows from me. Ha ha ha. Most talented, amazing death metal band ever. Once again, gross. My band is not Hate Eternal, so let's not compare and contrast. Great death metal. Phoenix Amongst the Ashes is their newest one. Really worth checking out. Very fast. Celtic Twilight. I bought this from Gabrielle Angelique, who is a beautiful Celtic singer for the other side of the musical spectrum. It's either one extreme or the other with me. I either like it really intense and energetic and chaotic and scary, or really beautiful and serene and just something to kind of ease those beautiful summer days in, you know. I don't know if I already showed you that. It's another Hate Eternal. You get the drill. I know a lot of people in the death metal scene are very critical of Impending Doom because they are really that new kind of polished, hardcore-ish deathcore sound or whatever. I thought Nailed Dead Risen was actually a very brutal album. It wasn't quite the most memorable thing I've ever heard, and they progressively get a little more polished, which for a guy who likes Autopsy, you know, Vitriol a lot, as an old schooler like me and older, is not necessarily a great thing. I really like these guys because they are a Christian death metal band. if you will. And that's almost punk rock in the death metal scene anymore, to be openly Christian. But there they are, sporting Cannibal Corpse, Suffocation, and what have you t-shirts. Cattle decapitation, maybe? Death metal logos are notoriously difficult to read. I really like these guys because after a lot of negativity, and sometimes it's an odd contrast to have very positive lyrics, or you know, things instead of the defeatist hate yourself, kill yourself lyrics that dominates most death metal. I will say I actually prefer death metal to be a little cheesy because it's a little more like that B movie. It's violent and scary, but you know it's just a joke. When people get really ugly, sometimes I get burnt out on it. It is called death metal, I understand. It's going to be real negative in a lot of ways. But this is very refreshing to me. Impending Doom, check them out. Dark Tranquillity was like just such pretty metal. It was almost like too much for me. I liked it though. My coworker listened to these guys a lot. I said, why not? Bought it, came with a free DVD. Pretty cool, not really my thing, but why not? Dark Tranquillity, rock on. And once again, Gabrielle Angelique. Anybody who likes Enya and Mary Brennan, like I do, should check out Gabrielle Angelique. She is an awesome singer and a great musician and very nice. I met her in person once again and I'm happy for it. I was kind of starstruck, but I didn't know it was her. I was listening to her music and then I realized I was actually talking to her. And yeah, it was real cool. Okay, Forgotten Realm. Matt Mills does this band. Found this in a music store in Columbus, Ohio. I said, there's Matt Mills' band. I got it, and also my buddy Brian, who I haven't seen in years, is the bassist for this great power metal band. Very melodic, very awesome. For those who are fans of Pig Destroyer, Matt Mills, I believe, was Scott Pohl's guitar teacher and did a guest solo on, I believe, the album Terrifier. This is very pretty music, where ironically, Pig Destroyer is very terrifying, ugly, violent music. Forgotten Realm's awesome, cool. So is Pig Destroyer. So are a lot of bands I listen to, whether you believe me or not. Incidentally, France's Blue Toss. Okay, so my camera ran out of batteries and I decided I wasn't done. If you're getting sick of me talking, I don't know. I'm talking about a lot of off-system stuff here. It just happens there's a lot of stuff out that's worth talking about. So, you know what I did? I plugged it in and I'm going to talk just a little bit more. If you've kept it real this long, then that means you're either really bored or you actually like a lot of the stuff I like, in which case, either way, thank you. No one's forcing you to watch, so don't complain about this being too long. Okay, yeah. Okay, word. Yeah, I'm getting tired. I think it's time to go play a video game before I go to bed. This is Witter Cheng, incidentally, and he doesn't master music as a job, so musicians don't ask him, he will say no. But it's I sent him a lot of my work, and out of the kindness of his heart, he did master my new album. This is the master copy of course, Crimson Witch, the album that will come out eventually. He compensated a lot for my very poor skill by making a great master, and it just really achieved that kind of sound. Despite that, it has no talent whatsoever. It still really feels like old school death metal, despite I use drum programs that are very avant-garde and very cheesy, but you know, it's got a very enveloping, warm, gritty, grimy feel to the guitar. It's much richer, much more multi-layered sounding. The previous mix sounded like a tin can, and Witter just made it sound great. So Witter of Decomposing Serenity, thank you. And Witter also runs Decomposed Skating. It's Decomposed Skate, sk8.com. If you're a skater, get your stuff from him. He's used my art on some of his skateboard products, which I know nothing about because I'm no good at skating. Most skating I ever did was just getting to the point where I could go down a very slight hill and not fall off, and that was good enough for me. He also made a customized gross guitar pick. So you can, while you're playing the guitar, you can get scared. You can look at it and get scared and be inspired to play more scary music. And what do you know? Witter also sent me his creepy doll arm pick, and he signed it. Thanks a lot, Witter. You have to be ready for the most deranged music ever conceived of, ever created, to be a Decomposing Serenity fan. Yeah, I'm really tired, but well, let's talk about just a few more things, because I'm really going all out on this, and let's go back to where this camera went off. Celtic Mystique I bought from Gabriel Angelique, and once again, great. Blue Das Nord, I think it cut off right around the time I was talking about them. Most phenomenal French experimental metal band I've ever heard. I mean, lovers of death metal or black metal can really get into this. I love it because it doesn't have all the damn cliches that come with uber negative black metal. They started off black metal. It's just very thought-provoking, awesome, atmospheric, esoteric radicalosity. Blue Das Nord. Yeah, I really can't stress enough just what phenomenal music this is. I mean, it's just, words cannot describe just how incredible this music is. It might take some getting used to if you're not already a fan of metal or experimental metal or what have you. You know, I realize it captures the same kind of feel as good old school death metal does, but it's definitely not that. I don't know. All I can say is buy all their albums and you probably won't be disappointed. Unless you don't like music that's awesome. About this Christmas Eve in Bondi. Here's some more positive, really positive stuff. Met this dude, he's a pianist. I met him at the same show, Craft Expo. Yeah, where I met Gabriel Angelique, and a real cool guy, a real great musician. This is Christmas music. Christmas is awesome because that's when Santa Claus comes and brings toys. Just advanced tracks for Decomposing Serenity, Witter gave me. Thank you, Witter. And what do you know? A Cannibal Corpse CD. Who would have thought that I'd have a Cannibal Corpse CD? Seriously gonna wrap this, but I know I'm gonna like turn this video off and realize that I totally neglected something that's completely awesome. But a lot of people have mixed feelings. Like Silent Hill has kind of taken a dive with one or two of their titles, and I won't say which, but I will say I enjoyed this one. I played it on the PSP and then scored this for the PS2 for like $15. I'm looking forward to playing through this again. Now look, Downpour, this is the one that just, I didn't even dare to get my hopes up. I said, but so far I love this game, seriously. It's a little more commercial. Yes, Korn is on the soundtrack for the intro movie. Whatever. I don't even really dislike the song so much. It's just like, you know, just having Korn on there feels so commercial. Akira Yamaoka did a kind of fusion of world beat, trip hop. I don't really like that term. It sounds so stupid, but whatever. Just very, very strange, ambient, weird, creepy music. Kind of like Blue Das Nord. It felt like that a lot. But and then Korn. You know, it's like, okay, hello commercialism for Silent Hill. Whatever, but I'm playing it and I really think it's outstanding. I'm actually going to play it after I end this video. I don't know how I'm going to feel by the end of it. I could go on and on about Silent Hill, but I'll tell you, very few things leave me with that feeling of being haunted, that lingering effect. I only play these at nighttime because I realize that's the best time for the effect. When I was a kid, I watched Freddy's Nightmares, unbeknownst to my parents, on DC-20, and like I would go to bed really scared, really haunted, and something about just feeling that sense that the rest of the world has disappeared and been replaced with God knows what, you know, an abyss. You know, that's the best way I think I can describe the feeling of being haunted. That reality isn't what you think it is. That's the feeling that Silent Hill brings to me. It casts a new hue over my own environment and really sets my imagination to life, and that's why Silent Hill is my favorite franchise of all time, along with Forbidden Siren, who was also conceived of by the same geniuses who have a very eclectic taste in very outer entertainment, such as David Lynch and probably Cronenberg, and of course Kuntz. Silent Hill. This, once again, is the game where Jack Ketchum's own street is featured. I wrote Jack Ketchum to tell him about that, and he wrote back and he said, "Cool, ain't it?" Jack Ketchum is a very different writer than Dean Koontz, by the way, but I love that author. He writes some very visceral, vivid, grotesque, terrifying horror that's real hard to read sometimes. But She Wakes was a great fantastique horror story. I have never read a book that fast. Just FYI. Jack Ketchum rules. In case I didn't already mention. You know who else rules? And then I promise we're we're not done. I'm going to show you a couple more things after this. All right, Brian Lumley rules. Rules. Everything Brian Lumley has ever done rules. The reasons for why he rules. I don't think I could fit the reasons in a book this big of why he rules. He just rules in every single way. And he helped me get a discount. My buddy Lloyd, I met him. I was reading Lumley. I think it was this one actually, in the auto repair shop, and he saw I was reading Lumley. We start talking fiction. He says, you know, Lumley made vampires scary, you know, where today vampires are just like New Kids on the Block or something. I don't know. Lumley makes them terrifying. You don't want to meet the vampires in Lumley's story. You don't want to meet any of the monsters in Lumley's story. You're scared of them. That's the essence of Lumley's horror, and that's why it's awesome. Okay, yeah. I just saw this sitting there. I figured, let's just look at what I have. Sometimes the fact is that this always adjusted dimension is actually just kind of a pain in the ass. Alright, yeah, that was it. The Moonlit Mind was actually the one by Dean Koontz. That's awesome. I'm trying to see this. Yeah, I did buy Ghoulies 3 because I got Ghoulies 1, 2, and 4, and I could only find it for digital download. Yes, I'm like looking at this on the viewer thing, trying to read it backwards. The Red Church by Scott Nicholson. Scott Nicholson is the master, by the way. Fantastic horror thriller author who I have gotten to illustrate children's books for, because he also writes great children's books. New Dawn Fades. My story is in this book. Gross, Dr. Deathworm Rises. Come back here. That is the Kindle version right there. Yeah, there it is. Look, it's so great. It's, okay, come back. Okay, yes, alright, let's move along. New Dawn Fades, yes, by Postmortem Press. These Trespasses by, from Postmortem. Most of these I haven't read. I just jacked up my Kindle with all kinds of awesome that I'll never run out of. Looking very much forward to reading a lot of these that I haven't even touched. Haven't had the time to. Tons of Scott Nicholson. Definitely get all of Scott Nicholson's work on the Kindle. A lot of these I really can't even read. A lot of these I got on a whim. It's more Scott Nicholson, so I can't really tell you much about all of these. And also because it's kind of hard to see what I'm doing here, I might be neglecting some things that are worth talking about that I know about. It's Too Many Witches. Oop, no. Yeah, Too Many Witches. Not too many people bought this one as much as If I Were Your Monster. But I think, okay, which way are we going? Yeah, this is this was a lot of fun to illustrate, and once again, Scott Nicholson's awesome. Oh wait, no, this is copyrighted material. You can't look at it. You gotta buy it. Sorry, sucker. Okay, moving along. Once I get to the end of my library, I will officially wrap this video. Yeah, okay, more Scott Nicholson. If I Were Your Monster. Sorry, copyrighted, not showing you. Nah, I'm joking. Just buy it, it's cheap, you'll enjoy it. Creative Spirit by Scott Nicholson. Doobie-doo. Doobie-da. Lots of Star Wars, because Star Wars is the grandmaster of all that, which is awesome. And, oh yeah, this is the one I haven't even started. Darkness Under the Sun. That's the ebook side story to What the Night Knows. I'm looking forward to reading it once I get the time. Don't know when that'll happen. Oh yes, Lovecraftian fiction, New Cthulhu. Read a few in that. Oh yeah, let's, yeah, I definitely have to show you that one. There's another Lovecraft I've neglected to show you because I have communicated with some of the authors. Where is it? Please let me find it, because I want to talk about some of the authors that are in it. Oh, come on. Alright, we're going to take a second out here. Oh, come on, you stupid. I hate when it adjusts. It's like, oh, whatever. Kindle Fire rules. Where is that book that I've read almost half of that is awesome? It's Black Wings. I think they've adjusted the title since I bought it. Oh, yeah. Black Wings, edited by S.T. Joshi. Go back to the damn cover. Black Wings, edited by S.T. Joshi. William H. Pugmire is in this. I think Cody Goodfellow is either in this one or the other one. Gosh, oh, you know what? I'm just gonna go into the book and list off some of the ones that I've read that are. Oh, please have a table of contents to make this easy for me, because I've read a bunch of awesome authors, but I know I'm gonna forget one if I. Okay, yeah, S.T. Joshi, Caitlin R. Kiernan, Donald R. Burleson, Joseph S. Pulver, who I did illustrations for in Strange Eons magazine, who's also one of my favorite authors, is awesome. He's in this. His story's great. Very different from what you're going to read in typical Lovecraft, yeah. Laird Barron, Sam Gafford. Oh, man, and they're getting... Oh, jeez. David J. Shaw. A lot of these are getting crisscrossed of which was which. Alright, I'm just going to take too much time to really... Yeah, there's William H. Pugmire. All of these have been great, and I can't really get into detail of why and how. It'd take too long for me to retrieve the information of why and how. Oh, yeah. Michael Shea did Copying Squid, that's right. I reviewed that one in Strange Eons. Whatever. Get Black Wings, edited by S.T. Joshi. Great Lovecraftia. I think I'm actually done. This really went on and on, but I'm using my actual digital camcorder instead of the cheesy camera's video function, so I figured why not. Wrapping this up, gonna go play Silent Hill, and tomorrow morning I'm gonna get straight back to work on a bunch of other cool stuff. Buy my book, and as usual, my blessings and my best wishes and my thanks and to everybody out there who's working hard on something, no matter what it is. Keep doing it, and whatever you're doing, you know, do it for the sake of good, even if it has zombies. Make the world a better place. I know that sounds cheesy, but it's true. Whatever gift you came into this world with, just use it. Do your best with it.